They called her lame and left her for dead, until the lonely rich rancher found her crawling and what had once seemed impossible, walking without support, tending animals, even riding a horse, had become part of her daily life. The girl who had crawled through mud, abandoned and mocked by villagers, was now walking steadily across the ranch, her head held high, her steps purposeful. She had learned to trust her own strength, to trust Thomas, and to trust that the world could hold kindness as well as cruelty. With her growing confidence, Thomas began to include Elena in more important tasks around the ranch. She helped him organize supplies, repair fences, and even make decisions about the care of the animals. At first, she felt nervous, afraid that she would make a mistake or disappoint him. But Thomas encouraged her gently, reminding her that mistakes were part of learning and that he trusted her judgment. This trust was more empowering than she could have imagined. She realized that someone believed in her not out of pity, but because she was capable. One day, Thomas asked Elena to accompany him to the village to deliver supplies. At first, Elena hesitated. The memories of ridicule, the names, and the cruelty haunted her. She had been abandoned, mocked, and made to feel worthless. Could she face those people again? Thomas did not pressure her. He only said, "You are ready if you want to be, but only if you feel strong enough." Elena took a deep breath and nodded. She had grown stronger, and she wanted to see herself in the world outside the ranch, no longer afraid of judgment. When they arrived at the village, Elena felt her heart pounding. The villagers paused and stared at her, some whispering to each other, others staring openly. She saw faces she had once known, faces that had laughed at her, ignored her, or called her names. For a moment, fear gripped her, and she wanted to turn back. But she felt Thomas's steady presence beside her and remembered the lessons she had learned at the ranch: trust in herself, in her strength, and in the goodness around her. She walked forward with confidence, her steps deliberate and steady. The villagers were surprised. The girl they had once called lame was now walking with strength and dignity. She carried herself with calm determination, her eyes clear and her posture proud. Some whispered in disbelief. Others avoided her gaze. Elena ignored the whispers. She was no longer the frightened girl they had abandoned. She was someone who had endured, someone who had survived, and someone who had grown stronger despite the cruelty she had faced. During their visit, Elena helped deliver supplies and interact with some of the villagers who were not hostile. She approached each task with calmness and focus, showing that she was capable and intelligent. Some villagers were quietly impressed, though they did not dare to show it openly. Elena realized that their opinions no longer had power over her. She had found her worth through her actions, her growth, and the trust Thomas had placed in her. The experience, though nerve-wracking, reinforced her confidence and independence. Back at the ranch, Elena's life continued to evolve. She began taking on larger responsibilities, such as overseeing the feeding of multiple animals at once, organizing tasks for the day, and helping manage the ranch's inventory. She discovered that she enjoyed planning, problem-solving, and contributing meaningfully to the work. Each successful task reinforced her sense of capability and independence. She realized that she was no longer defined by her disability, but by her determination, intelligence, and courage. Elena also began teaching herself new skills. She learned how to repair tools, maintain fences, and even help with the more complex aspects of ranch life. Thomas encouraged her curiosity, guiding her when needed but allowing her space to learn through trial and error. Elena discovered that learning and working hard gave her a sense of purpose and satisfaction she had never felt before. It was no longer enough to survive. She wanted to thrive and excel in this new life she was building. As she grew stronger and more independent, Elena also began thinking about her future. She imagined a life beyond fear and mockery, a life where she could make her own decisions and be proud of herself. She realized that she no longer needed to seek approval from the villagers who had once belittled her. She had found validation through her own actions and through the trust and respect of Thomas. This understanding gave her a sense of freedom she had never experienced before. One day, while walking through the fields, Alina noticed a group of children playing near the edge of the village. They stopped and stared at her, whispering and pointing. For a moment, Alina felt a flicker of old fear. But then she remembered the courage she had built, the strength she had discovered, and the confidence she now carried. She smiled gently at them, a small, quiet gesture of self-assurance. The children looked surprised, unsure how to respond. Alina realized that she no longer needed their approval or validation. She had become her own measure of strength and worth. Alina's transformation was not only physical and emotional, but also social. She began interacting with others in ways she had never imagined possible. She offered help to neighbors, assisted with tasks around the village when needed, and even shared her knowledge and experience with others. People began to notice her resilience and intelligence, though some still struggled to fully accept her. Alina did not mind. She had learned that respect was earned through action and character, not given freely or demanded. Her relationship with Thomas also grew deeper during this period. They shared long conversations about life, dreams, and aspirations. Thomas admired Alina's courage and determination, while Alina appreciated his patience, guidance, and unwavering support. Their friendship was built on mutual respect and understanding, a quiet bond that required no words to express. Together, they navigated the challenges of ranch life, learning from each other and celebrating small victories. As Alina continued to grow, she began to take pride in her accomplishments. She could now walk long distances without assistance, ride horses confidently, and manage complex tasks around the ranch. She had developed not only physical strength but also mental resilience, problem-solving skills, and emotional maturity. Every challenge she faced became an opportunity to grow, and every small victory reinforced her belief in herself. Alina also began to help Thomas with the training of younger animals. She discovered a natural ability to understand their behavior, to calm them, and to guide them patiently. Her careful observation and empathy allowed her to succeed in tasks that required both skill and compassion. Thomas noticed her talent and encouraged her to continue developing it, praising her progress and celebrating her successes. As the season changed, Alina found herself reflecting on her journey. She remembered the cold, lonely night when she had crawled through the mud, abandoned and left for dead. She remembered the pain, the fear, and the despair. And now she looked at herself in the mirror of experience and saw someone transformed. She was no longer the girl who had been mocked, ridiculed, and abandoned. She was a young woman filled with strength, confidence, and hope. One evening, as the sun set over the ranch, Alina and Thomas walked together along the ridge overlooking the fields. The sky was painted with shades of orange and pink, and the air was filled with the scents of grass and earth. Alina felt a deep sense of accomplishment and peace. She realized that life had given her both cruelty and kindness, and that she had survived and grown stronger because of it. She had found a place where she could heal, thrive, and belong. Alina's story of transformation began to quietly reach the village. People who had once mocked her now noticed the changes, her confidence, her skills, her independence. Some were surprised, others impressed, and a few were ashamed of their past cruelty. But Alina no longer sought their approval. She had discovered her own worth through her actions and the respect she had earned at the ranch. By the end of this period in her life, Alina had become a symbol of resilience and determination. She had faced cruelty, abandonment, and fear, yet she had emerged stronger, wiser, and more confident. She had discovered the importance of trust, patience, and self-belief. She had formed deep bonds with Thomas, gained independence, and developed skills that allowed her to contribute meaningfully to the ranch and the world around her. Alina's journey was far from over. There would still be challenges, setbacks, and moments of doubt. But she had learned that she was capable of overcoming them. She had discovered that strength was not only physical but emotional and mental as well. She had learned that true courage was not the absence of fear, but the ability to move forward despite it. And she had discovered that kindness, patience, and trust could change a life in ways she had never imagined. As Part 4 concluded, Elena stood at a turning point. She was no longer defined by her past, by her disability, or by the cruelty of others. She had proven to herself that she could rise above adversity, find strength in unlikely places, and transform her life through courage, determination, and support. The girl who had once been abandoned and called lame was now a young woman ready to embrace the future, confident in her ability to face whatever challenges lay ahead.